Hi, we're back with our regular Game of Thrones roundtable. I'm Vicki Hyman, the television critic for New Jersey Advanced Media, and this week I am joined by
Caitlin Martin,
Carla Astillo,
Lamar Graham.
And we are a mixed bag of people who have read the books and who have not read the books, or all of the books. But we're going to leave the books mostly out of our discussion today, although it's going to be hard for Caitlin.
It's very hard.
So it wasn't a spectacular episode last night in the sense of dragons and fights and what have you, but there was a lot to chew on. There were a lot of alliances that were being made, and we are going to start with Sansa Stark and Ramsay and Roose Bolton and Littlefinger's role in it. The thing that I thought was most interesting about Littlefinger's conversation with Sansa when he breaks the news to her, oh yeah, you're marrying Ramsay Bolton, the son of the man who killed your brother and, you know, is in league with the Lannisters, was that he said, this is your opportunity to avenge your family. Don't be a bystander to tragedy anymore. And I wasn't sure if he was saying you can work with the Boltons to overthrow the Lannisters, or you can get rid of the Boltons. What do you think?
I mean, she's all dressed evil now, so I'm just hoping a knife to the heart while he's sleeping.
You think it's as clear as that?
I think so too. You know, Littlefinger, like, whatever happens, if Sansa kills the Boltons or if she works with the Boltons, it's beneficial to him. Like, he's in a no-lose situation. So.
I think it's Bolton's first, Lannister's second. And, you know, what really intrigued me about that whole thing is I'm ready for Brienne to come, sailing in and rescue Sansa from the clutches of the Boltons and Littlefinger. And maybe we'll finally find out what's really going on in Littlefinger's mind.
That's what we all want to know.
And I also think Reek may get his payback against Ramsay.
That's right, Reek or Theon Greyjoy.
Theon, whichever he is now.
Spotted Sansa. Who knows what's going to happen there? He's also he could also hear Ramsay and Roose talking about like what their plans are, marrying Sansa, creating the alliance. And the question is, even though we don't know what's going on in his mind anymore, we don't know how sane he is anymore, is he going to remember that he's with Sansa, or is he still too much enthralled to?
I think he's unbolting the door for Brienne.
I hope so.
And I fear that Podrick is going to get offed in this whole thing.
That would be sad.
No, we like Podrick, but I just don't.
But it wouldn't be so bad if he went off in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's learning to be a swordsman. He's gonna go down in an honorable fashion.
You had mentioned something to me earlier about how the Greyjoys, who have all the ships on the Iron Islands, could play a role in advancing the Bolton Stark alliance.
Well, the Greyjoys are kind of like an untapped resource, and I really don't know if they're going to be in this season. There's been a lot of rumors that they're not, but they're kind of being really forgotten. I mean, we have Yara, who was
Theon's sister, who we didn't realize at first was a sister.
Who didn't realize because he was Theon. A lot different than he is now, obviously. But that's just because they're not in the story doesn't mean they're not wreaking havoc, because they did take Winterfell and burnt it to the ground. So, I mean, these are still a big powerhouse of people who really, they're not up to any good.
Who have ships that could ferry the Unsullied to Westeros.
They could, but
all the way around
they're not. They're not there at
all.
all. It's a very, very long way.
Yeah, okay, fine, but got to get them over there some way.
Somehow.
Okay.
We can only hope.
So let's move on to Cersei, who is doing this big power play with Marjorie, and Marjorie seems to be winning. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
My daddy always said you should be careful about letting your mouth overload your hind end, and I'm afraid that's what Marjorie's doing with Cersei. She's playing her hand too openly, I think.
The thing, though, about that is, Marjorie does have the power now. Cersei Lannister is no longer the most powerful woman in King's Landing. She's not queen anymore.
And Marjorie has Tom and wrapped around her finger.
That, and I really think, there was that little battle of wits where she was saying anything you need. I think she's trying to get on Marjorie's good side because Marjorie could very well convince Tommen that Cersei would be happier in King's Landing. And then bye-bye Cersei. There's nothing she can say to stop that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to how Cersei wins her power back, because she's not going down without a fight.
Which is why she allied with the High Sparrow.
Yeah, that was interesting.
The High Sparrow is very much an unknown quantity as far as Cersei knows, and she it could be a problem for her. I mean, she's clearly seeing that he's got a lot of power. She's putting another ally in place, but she doesn't. It's like she doesn't know who she's dealing with, and that's a problem. Anybody else have any worries about the High Sparrow?
I think that, first of all, I'm really excited about who I think the High Sparrow is.
Is this a book thing?
It's a book thing, but it's not.
It's
It's not a
Oilers
confirmed book thing. But the person they picked to play him is an incredible actor,
Jonathan Pryce.
And I'm
Right.
really, really excited to see how he plays High Sparrow. And I don't remember if they explicitly. Did they really throw the High Septon in
The dungeon?
show?
I think she did.
And
Or
was
was
she just,
I think
or
she
was
was-
she
I-
just
you know, she don't
playing
play.
at it?
Yeah. No, I think she put him in the dungeons.
I think so too. I think so too.
Let's only hope.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. Anyway, let's move on to Jon Snow and Winterfell. Some exciting stuff going on. Another decapitation,
Yeah, but I think that was just like underline that he is his father's
which
son,
is great.
You know,
The one thing
didn't
that
advance the ball much.
I was a little annoyed that Stannis is going to him again and saying, "Are you sure? Are you really sure, Jon?" But Davos, I thought, brought forth an argument that Stannis had not made to him, which is that, okay, you're the Night's Watch, you have to protect us from whatever's beyond the wall, but you have to protect the people, and maybe you could protect the people by working with us to advance Stannis' cause, which I thought was pretty interesting. Or maybe putting something forward for,
Later
in seasons
on.
forward for later on.
I don't know. I'm enjoying Jon Snow getting his swagger on. I mean, he was just like laying down the law. Like, for me personally, Jon Snow has always been the most boring of the main characters, and I hated every time we went back to the Wall. It's like, oh,
But his
like watching
hair is the
Payback.
most interesting of all the characters.
It's true because he's so mopey and blah, 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 and now finally, like, he's showing power, and he's so much more interesting than he's been. It took only 4 seasons, but I'm finally interested in what Jon
it was
Snow
also
is doing.
it was smart what he did with Alliser, that he made that,
Yeah.
like, it's like, keep your enemies close, whatever,
yeah.
but he made him the first ranger, which is really smart, and he put him in a place so then when he told Janet Slint, yeah, you're going to Greyguard, and Alliser was like, okay, you can take him, that's fine, which I thought was really awesome. And for me personally, because I happen to be I'm watching Game of Thrones, and I'm also watching it from the beginning again. And so we just came to the point in the first season where Janos Slynt had turned against Ned Stark. Janos Slynt, who was in charge of the City Watch, turned against Ned Stark and basically let him get arrested. So it was very satisfying for me to see that head be chopped off.
Does not Jon Snow know this, or
I don't know if he knows it or not. Like, he could know it. But
That's interesting.
it was satisfying for me as a viewer.
yeah.
Jon Snow be damned. Okay, so we are going to move across the Narrow Sea to Bravos, where we have Arya, sweeping out the dungeons, and I really thought for a while that, remember Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi, wipe on, wipe
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
if she could do something with the
It's
slate
either
out.
Karate Kid or Jedi Knight, one or the other two.
I feel like she got tricked into an unpaid internship or something. Poor Arya.
So it's interesting what's going on there. I really don't understand, and I don't remember from the books. I guess don't tell me what happens in the books. But it's like, what is all this leading to? It's very mysterious.
Payback is what it's leading to.
Well,
Eventually,
it
but-
really can't, because if she's to truly forget who she is and become no one,
right.
that would
Yeah.
be-
Which she
that
isn't
would
going to do
mean-
because she hid the needle.
I
She
think she'll
didn't
get a
throw the
weekend
needle
off
away.
for some
So it
revenge.
does show that she's not really committed to this at all.
She's holding back a
And
little
she has
part of
so
her.
so much more work to do, and it's not just hitting some people with some swords. It's mental, and it's really mental, and it shows how
It is
how
the Jedi.
she's really young still.
Yep.
And she's really immature, and she says, I'm ready for whatever it is you have to do. She doesn't know what she has to do, but she thinks she's ready, and she's obviously not.
And we are going to end in Volantis with Tyrion and Varys and his apparently new traveling companion, Jorah Mormont.
Ser Jorah is back.
Yeah, you like Ser
I
Jorah.
love Ser Jorah.
What do you like about Ser Jorah?
And I just finished the first book, and I have to say, like, the character in the show, it makes a more interesting Ser Jorah than the book does. And but I just like how gallant he was until his banishment by Daenerys. But I'm glad to see the guy back, and I think he's going to deliver the imp in an effort to get back in Daenerys.
With Daenerys, because one of our
and I hope that
commenters,
happens.
one of our commenters said, obviously it's set up to be like, we're taking you to Queen. Oh, is he taking her to Cersei? No, he's clearly taking her back
Oh,
to
he's taking her to
Yes,
Daenerys.
yeah, he
wants
loves
he wants
Daenerys.
he loves Daenerys.
Yes.
Where did he get that rope, though? like, that's one thing that
Really? That's your question?
He's on a battle net. Yeah,
From the Volantis robe shop.
Oh,
Caitlin.
sorry.
He went next door.
I didn't see that.
You just pay, So yeah, I thought that was very exciting, but it also makes me sad. Like, is that the end of Varys? It's like we're not going to see him anymore because him and Tyrion are so
be
delightful.
Back. He's the spider. He'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that I think it might mean that we're gonna get Tyrion and Dany together faster, which is great.
Yes,
Like
right.
I want that to be together so that
I want that to be next episode.
I don't think it's going to happen next episode.
But I still have like serious skepticism of that Dany would even accept Tyrion at all. Like, why would she?
Well, he's very convincing.
yeah.
And she's smart. She's smart.
She is smart,
She's
but
not going
she
to just
said-
dismiss him out of hand.
But she thought Jorah was a great person, and then when he betrayed her slightly, he's already
A long
gone.
time ago, betrayed
Right.
her.
But this is a person who is part of the family that overthrew her family.
But he also killed. Well, he supposedly killed the king. He supposedly killed his father.
Does
So
that matter to
those
you,
are
though?
those are good bona fides for Daenerys.
I think so.
I don't know. And if Varys and Jorah stick up for him, I think Daenerys will listen. Well, I
I
don't
think
know
she'll
about Jorah,
listen.
but
I think
yeah.
she'll listen, and I think she'll take. I think she'll take Jorah back into her good graces.
Well, actually, one thing that I thought was really fascinating was the meshing of the Red God, which is one of the gods of Essos, and not so much of Westeros, but the meshing of the Red God with Daenerys. And this woman who is preaching to the crowd is saying, "Oh, she's our savior." Well, who is the only person in Westeros who prays to the Red God?
Melisandre?
And Stannis.
Stannis.
So, I mean, like, that's a weird connection, right? And I personally have never thought that Stannis would be I didn't think that he would make a terrible king. I kind of like the guy.
Oh, I don't like Stannis.
Really? Why
Stannis
don't
is
you
so
like
awkward.
Stannis the Manus.
I like Stannis.
I love Stannis. It's just so Stannis, and then Davos always has to be behind and explain Stannis. It's like, yeah, he likes you. This is how he shows love. I'm so sorry.
I don't like Stannis.
I don't think
like
he'd
Davos.
be so
I don't like
bad.
Stannis.
I like Davos. He surrounds himself with some
Davos.
good people.
I know. I like Melisandre.
I don't like
I
Melisandre
love
either.
Melisandre.
I just don't think it's been any good. I mean, the problem with Stannis is that I think he just feels that he should be the king because, he's the brother, so he should be. And like, that's not really a good reason to think that you should be the king. But I don't think he's really that bad a guy, and so maybe he will be joining with Daenerys as well. I don't know. Something to think about.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I can tell you, I've watched the next episode. It's the last episode I received, and if you
you
want
have?
to,
So
yes,
you're one episode ahead of
I'm
us?
one episode ahead of you, and if you want spectacular, next week is spectacular. The last few moments, watch out for it, guys. It's really great.
Awesome.
And so we will be back
Excited.
next Monday with another Game of Thrones roundtable. Thanks everybody for watching.